All right, and we're back to Ice-T Show. We're about to go to our special interview today. We have Louisville's very own Fatah. He's in the building, and he is coming here to talk about the Knowledge Fest.
Yes, how you doing?
Talking to the mic, man.
Well,
Talking to the mic.
well.
Okay, how you doing?
Come on. Talking to the mic, man.
There I
You're
go.
scared, man.
Yeah, no, trust
Get
me,
some
I'm not
knowledge. Get some
scared.
knowledge is spread, right?
Oh yeah, oh
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
That's what it's about. The Knowledge Fest this year is gonna. Our main guest and our special guest is gonna be none other than Krs One. Krs One, knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone, or everybody. And he's a hip hop pioneer that's going to actually focus on hip hop history, African culture, and the fifth element of hip hop, which is knowledge, that has been left out of all of our music in today's generation. And the ones that do have the knowledge that has that element in their music, they just simply don't play. And it's not that they're whack. Some of it's whack. I'm keeping it real, but some of it, most of it is not. They still maintain that. So we need to. The Knowledge Fest composes of not just hip hop, but African history and Black history.
Right.
That's
It's
what
a lecture series.
It's a lecture series. It's not just where he's going to come and just spit and leave.
Right.
No, he's going to come and we're going to dig in deep. We got other guests there too, where we're going to actually emphasize
So, he's going to touch on a variety of topics.
a variety of topics. The most of it is going to be the culture of hip hop
Okay.
and the vibration of hip hop and how it started and from where it is now and how it intertwines with African culture.
Okay.
The reason why we say African, because that is the base of the crowd that Knowledge Fest induce or try to reach out. You know, we don't really call ourselves black, that's just a color, but we still, it's just a colloquial word that we have become to learn to use. That's part of the knowledge that we induce on, and we don't just sit there and talk, we actually show you proof, and we dig in deep. Most of the festivals is really edutainment, education and entertainment combined. Nowadays they left the education out. So we hear an artist that come down, instead of them just singing that is their art, but what other than that can they do? Because they have an influence over the audience. They have an influence over the people. So with that much influence, even though they don't like to call themselves a leader, they are a leader.
Right.
Believe it or not. So that's what we do. Yeah.
Okay, so it's interesting that you said that it entwines hip hop, and then the African, diaspora. So you used the word African. I just recently heard, not too long ago, what's his name? Waka Flocka.
He
did
said he's
not want to
black.
identify with being African.
Because
So, you call it the Knowledge Fest, and he also admitted that he wasn't, sure. He was kind of confused regarding his identity.
Well, you got to look at the word African now has become a mainstream word for quote unquote black. The people, from my understanding, from my knowledge, and from my reading and studying up on it, we're not African. He's exactly correct. If you look at his skin tone, if you look at his features, and we have been taught that everybody who identify themselves as black over here has came from a boat from over in Africa.
During the Middle
And that's
Passage.
that's just a lie.
Exactly.
When you actually dig in deep down the rabbit hole, you'll find out that this land is really our land. And this is our forefathers' fault. We still was in wars. Look up something called the Barbary Wars. Look up something called the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Look up something called the Sundry Moors. Look up what the word Moor mean. Who was George Washington writing the Emperor of Morocco back in the 1700s? Why did he have to write someone to ask to perform or to engage in commerce? Why was Morocco the first country to recognize the United States doing commerce, not recognize it as a nation? So that's a misnomer itself. So that's what the Knowledge Fest is about. So he's exactly right. But we use the word African to identify togetherness because we all descended from Africa.
Right.
But that don't mean that we're all African.
Right.
We didn't become African as a nation or as a people until we were split. Then we were considered, okay, we're black. Because we weren't considered black until we actually over here. That's a word that they made up over here to identify ourselves. And if you really look at that, that means you're not a person, place, or thing.
Right.
You're an adjective.
Color.
You're something like, in law, it's something called a misnomer of identity. So that's why you don't have a status, but we go in on that. That's what the Knowledge Fest is about. This particular festival is not the same festivals or black festivals that you see that have the drummers and the dancers and somebody up there. It seems like you're in church service sometimes where you can't express yourself, you can't cuss, you can't use can I use the word?
The N-word.
The N-word, or whatever the situation. We allow us to be who we are at this festival. Like last year when we had David Banner. Do you? We can't continue to censor what we are, who we are, or our language. You know, a lot of that stems from what they call from Christianity and church. But then a lot of the Christians, they worse. Then, then you know, how can they sit there and talk about somebody cussing and you know? But that's just one of them. That's to my people. But that's what the Knowledge Fest is about. It's hip hop themed hip hop. But look at the other guests also: Taj Tariq Bey, Sabir Bey, Abdullah Bey. These are brothers that that is out there in the community to teach about etymology, to teach about civics, law, to take a second look at the books to see what's really going on versus just, you know, the hip hop is what draws the people.
Right.
So that's the entertainment of it. But it's a plus and a win-win situation when you have an artist that can spit on the mic and perform and they have a little knowledge. Because nowadays they scared to talk about anything black or anything knowledgeable. They scared. You know, maybe they don't know how to flip their money. Maybe they just ignorant with their money, and they feel that this particular company that's paying them is the all in all. So,
well, do you think that, like, even if you are out here doing your thing, that, you know, I've heard in the past, like, systems like the CIA, they get involved, they infiltrate, and they, like, you know, cause disruption to the, like, where we are not able to organize. What do you think are some of the causes that prevent us to have, like, a black leader? Because I know, like, Dr. Umar, you had him as a guest during the Knowledge Fest before. But then there's some things going on with him, as you know, regarding even us trying to show him support. I think our community's kind of torn on.
Well, that's the part of that is our religious aspect. We have to ask ourselves, who taught that Negro preacher how to read back in the 1800s?
True.
It was his person who was mentoring him, which wasn't us. So that passiveness of our people always make it where we have to have a savior complex for a leader. He had to be squeaky clean, he had to have a family, he had to have this particular image to lead the people. All of that is fake. That's the same as someone you know, not putting on their drawers in the morning. We all human. We bleed the same, we breathe the same air. So we can't expect, because I'm not perfect at all, and I don't look at myself as a leader, but we can't keep continuing to expect this squeaky clean leader to come out that don't have anything, because if you notice this year and last year, it's all about exposure. Well, we're exposing this person. Well, we're exposing this. How about we expose the people who's exposing? You see what I'm saying? So we can't,
to the glass house.
Right. We can't keep continuing to have this particular squeaky clean savior complex where somebody have to come and lead us and save us to do something, and they have to be squeaky clean. When the last general you seen at war that's squeaky clean? Why would you want a squeaky clean general anyway? You want someone that has a little bit of ruggedness. You want someone that has a little bit of all-around aspect of being a leader. It's not just how he sound or what he talk about. Martin Luther King wasn't squeaky clean. It's a lot of people, Malcolm X and so forth. So that's my take on that.
Okay, all right. So there's also going to be spoken word too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Right now, it's not. We're not. This year, last year we had more of a show, and it was a good show. But this year we're going to focus more on this knowledge because we're slipping away from that. We're going to have a couple of artists that's going to perform. We're going to have some spoken word. I don't know who's going to exactly be the spoken word. It's just going to be a surprise. Really, I leave it open to certain people who want to come up and say some things, but they know how I am. It's got to be raw. It's got to be rugged. It can't be soft. It can't be nothing that's fake or politically correct, if I'm pronouncing it right. So it have to be from the heart. It have to be real. And that's the thing about with my organization and with some of the people that has been along beside this movement for the last 8-9 years here in the city. It have to be real. There's so many black organizations out there that's receiving grants, that's receiving donations and have sponsors. They're simply, the only thing that they can do is give out canned goods and give out backpacks and doing stuff that is someone else's agenda that's not really reaching the community. Name a true charity that has reached the community except free lunch, which was started by the Black Panthers. But name another charity that has been there. I can't name too many. And if it is, where are the testimonials? Because word spread around the hood fast, about something. You have some cities that has over 80 black millionaires in the city, meaning basketball teams, football teams, and the baseball teams. And the city still look like crap. How are you going to have 80 black millionaires, not including the businessmen, sports figures and sports players that's riding around and performing for the city, but none of them are putting in work?
Right, so you're saying like financial advisors or something?
More than that, we have to have,
educating them, and helping them
education. It takes capital, it takes money.
Put their money back into the community.
Put the money back in the community. If just like we have someone that's in the community here in Louisville, let's say they're making $30 million a year. Okay, if you're making that much a year, you mean to tell me you can't go buy about 20 to 30 houses down in the West End and fix them up and start black employment? In an education program, it ain't gonna take no more than $100,000. So they can't do that. But I'm not knocking anybody. It's a start. But we have different artists. They doing basketball courts. Okay, that's fine and dandy. That's something. That's fun. That's entertainment. But what about the education? There's not one figure that I've seen yet. And I've been doing this for 9 years now. I spent a lot of my own personal money bringing forth artists and artistry and performance and knowledge to the city. I'm not taking all the credit because there's a lot of people that helped me also in the background. We have Salad Park sponsorship and togetherness and different organizations. It's sad that sometimes our city, just because they know it's me that's bringing forth these people, they're not going to come because that's such and such, I know him. Versus if I was someone else from another city that comes in, they don't know me, so they're coming support. So that's kind of hateration right there from your own city. Don't come for me, come for the knowledge. Come for blackonomics. This is the time. I haven't had too many vendors complain about my events. They're making their money. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it's about, blackonomics. So that's my take about people who are making good money, millions of dollars, and
because they have financial finances, but they're not being coached, mentored to spend the money back into the community.
Right. I take my hat off to the brother Waka Flocka now. He's coming out with knowledge. He changed his whole, outlook of life when he got this knowledge coming in. And I know it's real because I've been there. When you first awaken or become conscious, you go through stages. You're going to go through a mad stage, you're going to go through a sad stage, a scared stage. You're going to go where you want to tell everybody about your experience. Like, hey, y'all, we're being tricked. It's like we're in a burning house. Like, man, hey, we got to get out of here. It's about to blow up. Oh, man, go on somewhere with that. That's the same way that Harriet Tubman went through. She even said and witnessed that she could have freed thousands. Why didn't they? Because half of them didn't know that they were slaves.
Right.
It's the same thing that what's going on right now. You can't make all this money. And I don't have a lot of money like that, but if I had money like that, I don't give no artist or no performer or especially no sports figure, I don't give them no slack by them not giving to their community. At least LeBron James is doing it. That's what is announced. But even, like I said, words spread fast. So if you're doing something on the backhand slide, the people will know. And I go to these other cities, and it's worse than Louisville.
Okay.
I've seen it.
There are some organizations out there, like I've worked with Sister Shabazz, Malcolm X's daughter, and I know she's doing her thing here in Louisville, trying to help us and organize us. And there has been some events that she sponsored last year, the I Am Ali Festival, which focused.
Peace to the sister too. But my problem with that, this is my personal opinion, and like I said, I'm a realist. Who's paying her? Where's she getting her income stream from? If it's not from any governmental entity, it have to be from some particular grant. Or she have her own business, but I don't see too many people in our generation that is given to money to organizations like that. So if she's receiving her money from a grant, per se, to live, and I understand her figure, but it's so much that she can do. Not saying whatever she's doing is bad, but it's just so much she can do. We should have people who don't have that figurehead, as far as being Malcolm L. Shabazz daughter. Let's say a regular cat, he have to play his part, just like a person have to play their part when they go to church. if they can give that 10%, they're supposed to anyway, to the church each week, in which we have over 200 churches in the West End, and the West End still look like crap. How you gonna have 200 churches down there, and then the neighborhood still like crap? That's my personal opinion. So if you're going to give your 10% to that, that's going to keep the church up, beautified. It's like paying a tax. That's the same thing that I hold responsible of so-called black people need to do. If you're getting paid $500 to $600 a week, then you can put it away at least $20 a month or $20 of that check to give to a certain black organization that's doing something. We don't do that. Not at all. First thing we do, that money goes out of our hand. The only way that money flip around is when we go to a barber shop or a beauty shop. The rest of it, we go to a white gas station, a white restaurant. We go to all of these other places that is not owned by us. So that's what happens to our money. They have crippled us to the lowest of the low. The African American is the lowest person, which I hate to say, around the world. Everybody coming to our communities and start over. They get rich. You have a lot of Arabs and Indians come in our community, and Koreans, and they get rich, and then they move out. They don't spend no resources down in our community. When the last time anybody petitioned one of these gas stations down here to give up to one of these black communities? They don't, at all. But then you see some of our church leaders on the front lines. Why do we got religious leaders on the front lines of this battle of our equality?
I mean, they always have. Martin Luther King Jr. was a religious leader, and he was on the front line.
He was on the front line, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be at all. Why would you have? We are the only people in the world that have religious leaders on the front line of a battle. They don't supposed to be. They're supposed to be as advisors and counselors and elders. You just shouldn't have the preacher man. Now, here's the conspiracy with that. If you do have the preacher man on the front lines, who's he getting paid for? He can't do too much. He's the preacher man. He's already using their religion, which was taught to him, to try to teach love. Their concept of love is not turning the cheek, where we don't do anything. So the only power we have is marching. We don't even have economic power to shut down or to boycott something. The last person that really successfully done that was Martin Luther King.
Because we tried to do the NFL boycott, and we could not unify.
Right.
We were split. Some people was like, I'm
Split.
still watching.
Right.
I'm not
going to stand for the flag. I'm going to stand for the flag. I mean, it don't make no sense. But why wouldn't we be considered as slaves, or they can come and do anything they want? Look what happened.
I mean, because we've been miseducated.
Miseducated, bad, but keeping it real, let a brother or a sister do something damaging to each other. We ready to kill them. Let me step on that person's shoe on accident in the club. What you say? They ready to bust me in my mouth, kill me, or let a female have the same outfit that you had on, or something like that, to that matter, whatever. You know, we got to do better. We got to do better than this.
In regards to loving one another,
loving one another.
Together.
We have to love one another, and we have to unify together. And I'm not saying that everybody's going to unify.
Consciously spend our money back into our community.
We have to think of nationhood. It's just like any other ethnicity that come down here. They always put their country first. They don't put, well, we got to include such and such in this because they've been with me all this time. No, it would never work like that. Let a Korean see another injured Korean. He would come to that person's aid with no problem before. He's not going to think about, well, what's the right thing to do? Or that's like, it's almost like a trick to not include or just to have something of your own, by your own, for your own, exclusively. It's always have to be where we have to include someone else. And I've seen a post on Facebook of they have Greek organizations that are white that are stepping now.
Yeah, I seen that.
So who taught them that? We did. It's the same as hip hop. This has been the most awarding last year and this year for white rappers. Nicki Minaj said that. Why? Because we're giving them a pass. We always give them a pass, and they're going to take it just like they took jazz, rock and roll, country, blues. You go to the blues festival this year and see who's going to be. It ain't going to be black. That's just like 50 years from now, we're going to go to a hip hop festival all white.
Oh yeah, well I just recently saw a Facebook post last night, and it was Busy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony, and he was saying how, like, you know, he was naming countries out of the United States, and his fan base there, I'm sure.
Right. Now, here's the thing about it. There's nothing wrong with white people enjoying our music, but you have to look at where every single genre of music that is popular today, where did it come from? Country have changed their whole concept of country music. Have you heard country lately? Oh man, they be bopping sometimes.
I mean, well,
it's rapping.
Yeah, they
rapping.
R&B artists have ventured into country. I know Candy Barrett, she's wrote some country songs for some artists. K. Michelle, she put out an album. our girl that's here
It's a
from
lot of
Louisville,
people
Kiki
because they see
Watts,
it's rewarding
she loves
too.
country music.
It's rewarding also, and the thing about it is almost like that we're changing genres also because they think that we're chasing to follow white people to where really they're following us. They have to now. If we come out with some different style next year, I wouldn't be surprised 5 years from now that they be sounding like the Migos.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? And Migos really got it from Bone. But that's an argument. That I'm from the original school.
That's another show.
But that's another show, right? But if you look at all of that back then, it circles around. We are creators of the people of the earth, and it's not just. And that's what makes us significant. It's not the significant, being significant, having your hair straight. It's the significance of having your hair like wool. Your hair, what's the significance about that? So that's the thing about it. They're trying to make you feel bad. So you see, everybody got straight hair.
But
Who
they
cares
always
about
want to
that?
touch it.
They want to touch their hair.
First thing they want to do, they want to touch
Right.
it.
Who cares about your hair being straight? Okay, everybody got their hair straight, but their hair of wool. Jesus' hair was of wool. Buddha's hair was of wool. Vishnu was hair of wool. Shiva hair was of wool. All the guys had hair of wool. Now, why is that?
Because they didn't have a perm.
That's the knowledge. See, I'm making you go down that rabbit hole.
Isis' hair was a wool.
Everybody hair was of
They didn't
wool.
have perms back
Yeah.
then.
You know, perm. A perm is a
Yeah.
colloquial word.
I know, it's
That's
like
a
what
brand
we are
name.
here now.
Right.
So, I mean, times have changed, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, times haven't changed. If that's the situation, trees wouldn't grow up. Times change, so it's going to grow sideways. That's been a myth too. Remember, everything that has been taught in over in America has been taught from someone else. We think red is red. We think black is black. We think is certain things like you said. Time has changed. Times haven't changed. People change. So there is an influence. It's a curvature in the geometric shape of time, on the charts of time, to make it change.
That was a figure of speech.
Right, but I'm just going in though. You know what I'm saying? It's just a change of time, and I always look at, like, I guess some people say I'm stuck in the 90s, in the early 2000s. I guess I am, but I'm not stuck. You know, technology makes time change. No more than 5-10 years ago, you wouldn't be on no Ustream broadcast. They probably didn't have it, or didn't have it where it was clear. So
It's evolving.
It's evolving, and it's evolving with technology. Who controls the technology?
Corporations like Microsoft, Google,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sony.
Do we own any of it, or do they just use our skill set to develop different things? Because even with me, I'm an engineer by trade, but it's been plenty of times with my employer, I'm like, man, you know what? They ain't doing nothing but using me. And at the drop of the dime, they can fire me and then replace me within 5 days if they want to.
You have to take that money that you're making from there and like invest it back into something that matters for you. Flip it.
That's what the Knowledge Fest is doing.
You know.
I've been doing it successfully for the last, really supposed to be Knowledge Fest 8. I skipped a year, but it's Knowledge Fest 7. And that's what I've been doing. I said, if I'm going to take this little bit of money that I have and this extra, it comes with sacrifice too, but I'm going to develop it in the community. I'm going to put something forth where they can remember, because I have children that was in elementary school that the parents brought them 5 and 6 years ago. Say, man, I remember going to the first Knowledge Fest. Now they're teenagers or young adults, and they always remember that. I even had a brother, hear him say, man, I've never seen a show like this, this many black people, and everybody getting together is unity. It feels like family inside here, and that's what it is. That's what it's supposed to be about. We all on one accord. We all here to learn. We all here to see one person. It's not going to be no foolishness, and thank God and thank the ancestors that it hasn't been any foolishness at none of my events. I even each year we start hosting, me and another brother at Asar Shapes. We host a festival outside on 44th and Market. We put that red, black, and green flag up there. We have different brothers from the neighborhood that's on their knowledge. We don't have no foolishness up there. We don't have no bodyguards or nothing. Mm-hmm. We don't have no guns. Mm-hmm. But we have a protective energy around us. That stuff is real.
Oh, that sounds like
it's very real.
My experience like in the HBCU.
Yeah.
It's nothing like seeing others like you.
Oh man, I bet y'all have
all
fun.
smart,
yes,
all focused, determined. About something.
Yeah.
You can feel off that energy.
Yeah,
and
you can feel that.
To see that. So.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
It's energy.
Right, and it's energy. It's positive energy. And right now, this area needs positive energy. And Krs One haven't been here in over, I think he said 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah.
He said the last time he was here was, it was a long time in the early 90s.
In the early 90s.
Yeah. So that's when, you know, and I want the young people to come out because a lot of young people don't know who Krs One is. And if they only knew. I know we know. You know what I'm saying?
The generation
I think we need to bring the Million Man March back, man.
Well,
I think that would not meaning like something bad, but I mean just brothers, you know, brothers getting together.
Right.
And going up and making just making a statement.
Well, the statement we can have,
it would be more than 1 million.
Right, it'll be more.
The way social media is these days.
Oh man.
Because we did that back then with just like word of mouth.
Well, they did in 2015 with Fred. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 3 years ago, and it wasn't 1 million people, but it wasn't. Didn't have they kick like it was. I think the impact that we can make now is something like an idea. We can all get together, a couple of brothers, where we can buy $100,000 worth of properties down the West End and fix them up ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
That's a start. You know, certain brothers don't even know what they have. I know a lot of brothers and entrepreneurs and are people that have like 5, 10, and 20 houses. Right there is almost $1 million. They don't know what they're sitting on. So all that they can do is rent it out. They don't know how to borrow from that and the different asset allocations, get a CDO or mortgage-backed security to continue to fund certain aspects of their endeavor. They don't. I don't know why our people don't do that.
I mean, we don't support and we don't unify. But how can we really actually work on that? Because we can spend time talking about it. We can have a knowledge fest once a year and then
the knowledge fest. Testimonials from the Knowledge Fest. Every Knowledge Fest that we have actually engaged in, I've always had people come back and say, man, look, this is what I've done, or I didn't know this, it made me go look up this and that and the other, and it made them become a better person. To actually really overcome this is knowledge. Even in the Bible it says, our people perish for the lack of what? Knowledge. If you didn't, not to get in your age, but from what you knew now, if you knew this 10 years ago, I guarantee you'd be like, man, I would have did this, I would have did that, or whatever the situation may be. I say the same thing all the time. If what I know now, 5 years ago, I would literally be rich. Literally be rich. And I'm not saying rich is a good thing, but I would be more well off than what I am now. I wouldn't be, I don't like asking people for donations and asking for people to give. I think it should be given, you know, especially from organizations versus always asking for donations. But we don't have enough organizations that give that realness, that right knowledge. They you know, when they have different other programs, just an example, to overcome and to unify, they might give you like certain programs that might give you knowledge of buying a house, but they don't teach you ownership. They don't teach you credit. They teach you how to fix it and repair your credit, but they don't teach you credit. So it's a difference between, and that's where the right knowledge comes. It's a difference between learning and actually being knowledgeable and wise of it. Does that race car driver, he just know how to drive that car. But do we know the engine stroke? Do you know the piston size? Do we know the different rings, the makeup, the timing? Some of them do, but the majority of them don't. Just like the majority of us, we drive that car, we know how to put gas and maybe change the oil. But do you know the aspects of the axle, the torque conversion and everything? No. So that's where the knowledge come in. So that person that has that knowledge, he knows the end all of that vehicle that he's using and utilizing. He'll feel they have more of an investment in his money because he knows the all in all of the mechanics of that particular vehicle versus just driving it. I even know some people, not female, I even know I ain't gonna identify like it, but I know some people the only thing they know how to do is put gas in the car. They don't even know how to check the oil, the windshield, change the tire. I know a lot of young brothers, they don't even know how to change a tire or don't even know how to change a bike inner tube. You know, for their bike. They get a flat tire, they buy a whole new wheel. We knew how to do that when we were 7 to 8 years old.
Right.
You know, so that's
like trades.
Trades. I have on my posts all the time, trades.
Our own schools?
Our own schools. We have a sister right now that is doing her own school. That my organization actually, we started it together, KYLA. Hopefully more people support that. It's our own African Center School in here in Louisville. And we was disappointed when JCPS wanted to try to come up with a charter school, WEB, the boys' school. The meeting of that was packed, wall to wall. But when we did it, and she's been in business, and we've been doing it for the last 4 years. She had over 10 students. The peak that she ever had was like 16 students, which is real good. We can have to beg to get people to come out. Why is that? We had the same accreditation, and people don't even understand the laws of school. We do not have to go to public school. You can start your own. You can have a homeschool. There's no such law that require you to force your children into public school. None. So we got to go through all these rules and regulations, police beating us up in schools, unfair grades, unfair teachers, all of that stuff.
With the laws now, with Bessie DeBose being in the, Department of Education seat or whatever, it's really, it's just scary to know that they're cutting so much funding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they're going to eventually make schools back segregated. I feel like it.
But why not?
It's in the plan, because when you make a law now, you don't really think about it. Now you think about it, the effects of it 10 years from now.
I'm going to ask you something.
What the real agenda is,
right.
Because there's always agenda from school to prison pipeline to mass incarceration of the black men. Like there's always some systematic schemes that are taking place behind the wheel that we're not woke to.
What is my take on it? Once again, my personal take. I don't think segregation is bad. When we had our own hospitals, our own schools, and so forth. What they did to cripple us when we had our own, and we wasn't complaining, was marketing, advertisement, TV, trickery. Oh, ours is better and cleaner. Then they cut us off of resources. So certain stuff like that. And then when we had our Black Wall Streets in Raleigh, North Carolina, Tulsa, we even had one here. Go down to 28th and Dumondale and so forth. That was the black shopping area. It was clean and so forth. We tore it up, or we was tricked into resources getting cut off. So I don't see anything wrong with segregation. You have certain parents that's in the West End where they can't make the PTA meetings all the way out in Norton Commons or all the way down in PRP unless that bus schedule comes, so forth. So we can't. Segregation is, I agree with going to the schools in your neighborhood. That's just me. Just imagine if all the people went to the schools in the Shawnee neighborhood and they went to Shawnee.
Well, I don't know. I didn't go to school. I grew up in Los Angeles, California. I did not go to the schools in my neighborhood. I did not. I bussed out to the schools in the suburbs, the coast of Los Angeles and San Pedro, California. I did not go to the schools in my neighborhood. And I went one summer, and I was able to see the difference in the schools. I went to a summer school at Locke High, which is in Watts. Tyrese graduated from that school, and the classrooms, the books, it's horrible. Nobody didn't teach us. It's so, I was just like, I didn't want to be in the schools in my neighborhood just because I wanted a better education. So I don't necessarily agree with that because, like you said, they cut resources. Some of the teachers are having a hard time. And I think one of the things that we can change, if we're going to have to send our kids to public schools, at least let the teachers be of us, you know what I'm saying?
Right, I agree with that now. But
hire more teachers to work in the schools that are black.
That's the thing about it. With segregation, that's just a Band-Aid. Okay, yeah, they can move you out to the school way out. But what about the schools that's down there? Why not, instead of repairing the school,
themselves and the leadership around them in the schools? If it's going to be a black school, just thinking about that.
Well, if it's going to be
hiring,
of course, it's a lot of, believe it or not, it's a lot of black JCPS teachers, but a lot of them don't want to put up with our own kids. I'm keeping it real. They say they'd rather go out to these other schools that's out because, first of all, they think that they're safer, and they feel that these kids gonna behave different because they're out of the
which is not necessarily the case.
Which not necessarily
put your kids in the environment, and sometimes their response to them is to mark them off real quick, give them all demerits.
That's all. That's what they do. They don't fail them no more, so they just
pass them on. Oh, they do push them forward.
Push them forward. I disagree with that. I just think
they discipline by just your kid doesn't necessarily have to be a problem child, but going to schools.
I looked into
where there are a few of you in your classroom.
I had the privilege of, a lot of people think that when I bring these festivals, that I just bring them here. Hey, okay, brother, clap hands, give them an honorarium, and then we leave. No, I sit at the feet of these people. I've learned from Dr. Ashwa Kwesi. I've learned from Dr. Kaba. I've learned from Dr. Umar Johnson. I've learned from Professor Griff. I've learned from Taj Tariq Bey. On and on and on. I've learned from these people. So I don't just bring them down here and we just chop it up for a little bit. No, they give me curriculums. They give me, we talk extensively about a lot of stuff that goes on. And that's the thing with our schools and why I'm so concerned, because we have a chance to really, we can develop our own schools. Look at all the trouble that's going on with our public schools right now. You can't wear the weaves, or the brothers, you can't show your ethnicity per se. Who are them to regulate how our hair look? But then you can have Johnny over here have the orange spikes in his hair and the chains, look like he's a straight up punk rocker. That's all right to have.
Well, I heard they're even now saying that they want to make more sensitive to homosexuality in the schools.
Mm-hmm. Now,
I was like,
now here's a civic lesson that we forget: the power is in the people. Who votes on the curriculum? The board, right? Okay. Who puts that board in their neighborhood? Who puts that person in office?
The people.
So why, if all these West End parents and all these, not just West End, so-called people, melanated people or black people, if they're that concerned, look at their representative of their school district of the area. I guarantee you don't look like them. We have one black person, which is now she's the head. She's been in there for years. So when they go out into these neighborhoods and say, hey, vote for me, why are we quick to put these white folks on the board? Why ain't no more black? How many in the last 5 to 10 years? I can count on one hand how many black school board members there has been. Maybe 2.
We have to pursue those positions, though.
Right. We do have to pursue it, but there's nobody there to make them think. Who's making them think? So you have the aldermen, which the people are constituents. They supposed to have educational programs. They're supposed to teach them about civics, law, because ignorance of the law is no excuse. So who is teaching these people or bringing these people out and say, hold on, y'all, look who y'all voting for the school board. There's nobody saying anything. So they're allowing these Europeans to fulfill these positions in a predominantly black area, and then they want to come back and complain about the curriculum. They can't. So if we had some representation up there, of course they'd be like, well, hold on, no, we can be sensitive to being in the LGBTQ community per se, but at the same time, we're gonna tell the truth. Everybody's not gay. Sometimes, a lot of times, we're straight. We don't want to see 2 men kissing or 2 women kissing, and so forth and so forth. So that's just my take of it, and some of the community, I'm pretty sure that they feel like that too. They don't want to see that. I would want to see my children where they can learn about it, but let me teach them that. Mm-hmm. I don't want the school to teach them nothing about that. That's just my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the Knowledge Fest is taking place Friday, March the 9th. Doors are going to open up at 6 p.m. at the Glasswork building. The
Glasswork's on the top floor. Come up there. This year we allowing vendors to vend food.
Okay.
They do have to have a disclaimer up there, so just in case someone eat it and they're allergic to something, I won't get sued and they won't get sued. So they're going to have insurance also. And we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a couple of performances, and our main focus is going to be Krs One. He haven't been to the city in a long time. And then after that, come party with us at the concert at Diamonds. We're going to have a concert immediately afterwards.
Right.
And we're going to have a lot of local artists that's going to be there, that's going to open up. It's going to start. It's $35 online. Don't come to the door without a ticket and get it online. Use that technology, because I'm going to bust your head at the door.
Okay.
$50 at the door. So get it online.
On Eventbrite?
On Eventbrite, or they can go on my website to get it, or they can go to, not Eventbrite, I'm sorry. They can go online to get the dual combo, the $45, where you can get into the concert and the Knowledge Fest for $45. You can go on Eventbrite to get that, but for the concert only, it's on TicketWeb. It's controlled by Ticketmaster.
Okay.
And it's going to be $35 all night. It's not going to change. But if you come in there without a ticket, $50 at the door.
All right,
so,
all right.
I might be without a ticket, because I got a booking, but I'm going to swing through.
Okay.
I'm booked. Okay, yeah. But I am gonna swing through on something.
Oh, okay then.
Whether it's early at 6, or I mean, I really want to hear the lecture myself. Right. So well,
if you come through, bruh,
It may be late.
We can talk
It may
about
be
some. We
late.
can talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
some
I'll
press
hit you up and
passes.
let
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We can talk about some press passes because I want all black media to. I want us. You know, Krs One have a large white following, which is fine.
Yeah.
You know, white people love hip hop.
They do.
Original hip hop. So I just want a chance for our people to see them too. I want a chance for our people to get close to them because it's just like if we had some other artist come down here, you know, that's black, Beyonce or something, and you know it's gonna be nothing but mainstream. But she's like, no, let me get these local black media guys to have an opportunity to interview me versus, you know, mainstream. Mm-hmm. So that's the same thing I'm doing with Krs One and all the artists because next year I'm shooting for other. You know, if Louisville, if I find some sponsorship here, I'll stay here in Louisville. If not, there are other cities that want the concept.
No, you can't take it from Louisville.
Well, yeah, I better be working to get some sponsorship. This costs some money. Yeah. Everything costs money, and right now I'm just trying to sell these tickets. You know, ticket sales are slow in Louisville. You know, like David Banner, I didn't sell no tickets there until like 2 weeks before. I'm like, then they start complaining, man, it's $25. I'm like, well, the ticket's been on sale. So that's one reason why, you know, other artists skip Louisville. It's like Louisville's in the way. You got Nashville, then Indianapolis on 65. They just skip Louisville. You know, why is that? You know, so that's what it is. Just come out to Knowledge Fest, see what we about. Come see the legendary Krs One. Get close with the brother. You know, come out and see blackness. Hear spoken word. Hear. And be educated about, you know, hip hop. I want some young people to go there because we're gonna have young artists there too. There's gonna be, you know, that understand real hip hop. You know, they got a little following too. So
okay,
we're gonna have young artists there. Yeah.
Good. So that's going to be Friday, March 9th at 815 Market Street at the Glasswork Building.
Right.
And then the after concert
is gonna be
at Diamonds
at
Concert
Diamonds
Hall.
right there on East Broadway, right there at Diamonds.
630 Barrett Avenue.
Yep. And it's also March the 9th is a very significant date also.
Biggie.
There you go. I'm gonna tell you what was it? Biggie. That's when Biggie died.
Okay.
That's when Biggie died. So we lost one of the greatest MCs ever. You know, I'm a pockhead though. I'm just keeping it real, but I gotta give a shout out to Biggie Smalls. You know, I shaded that brother because he came with some lyrics that people still can't understand how he think of it in his head. Mm-hmm. You know, and flip it and do all kind of other stuff with it. So that's the significance of energy right there. Mm-hmm. So I just hope Louisville come out. I hope, man, this is our day. It's time for us to shine. It's time for us to be real about it. Come out. It's gonna be a lot of brothers out there. It's gonna be a lot of nice looking sisters out there. So mingle around, network. That's what it's about. It's not just, you know, hear the knowledge. Network. If you see that nice looking sister, and hey, same thing with the sisters with the brothers. It's all love. It's family. Yeah,
that's what's up.
Straight up.
So I got 2 tickets to go to the concert.
You got,
and then I have 2 packages for the Knowledge Fest and the concert. We're gonna be giving those out today, so y'all stay tuned. And during the whole month of February, we'll be giving out tickets to go to the Knowledge Fest. So as we play our game, name that song, Ice. I think it's a good idea give these out. So you guys stay tuned, call in to the show. This is Tia B. This is Patah. He's here with the Knowledge Festival, and this is the Ice-T Show. Let's go on a commercial break. All right. We're back. This is the Ice-T Show. And I'm here with Patah. He is the organizer of the Knowledge Fest that's happening here March the 9th. So Patah, before you get out of here, let everyone know how they can get tickets to the Knowledge Fest and how they can get in contact with you.
They can go to my website, which is www.meetinc.org, and they can see exactly where they can purchase their tickets. Or they can call area code 502-509-1218, and they can get those tickets. Tickets is going away fast, so don't wait till the last minute.
It's going to be a dope event. Come out, you guys, and hear Krs One and other great speakers. They're going to be dropping some knowledge. We're going to talk about some things that, you know, really touch home for us as a community, as a people. So let's stand up and support Louisville. Hope to see you guys there. This is our show. We're going to wrap it up. Y'all make sure y'all tune in next week. Same time, same place. All right.
Peace.